Alrighty then, are we ready to rumble?
Yeah.
Sure.
That sounded like the announcer guy falling off a cliff. Are you ready to rumble?
Alas.
So, I first of all pop a couple of calming pills.
Ethel dispenses a couple of Werthers.
Unfortunately, Ethel dispensed caffeine pills. So, yeah, this isn't going to go so great. I start to do the maths. Ethel, can you plot me a landing spot on the asteroid?
Scanning. Updated.
I realize that the landing spot is way too soon and we're going way too fast. So I spin the ship around, blast the thrusters to full in the opposite direction, and hope against hope that I stop us just in time to land smoothly on the surface.
You're going to have to roll for that.
I know I'm going to have to roll for it.
I'll give you 3, unless anyone else is helping.
I think I'm putting on a large peaked cap to give me an aura of command. Also, do our powerful sensors give us a sort of horrifying, like blurry, low-res image of just ground swarming with like clamping cyber jaws, or is that not information which we would have access to at this point?
That would be another roll, I think.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to adjust my cap and consult the sensors, but one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a parking camera on the back, so we can.
Oh, brilliant!
So we'll go to see how successful your landing is.
What did I want to? I wanted to be over because
Yeah,
I'm doing a wild passionate action.
If you tell me it's feelings, then yes.
I can go for lasers.
If it's feelings, then it has to be over. Yeah.
It was a panicked move. I feel it was like an emergency burn and turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be over, and I have 2 over. I have a 5 and a 6 over.
Nice. That is a regular success. Good job.
Excellent. We stop inches from the surface, and I extend the landing gear.
And Carl, would you like to do a scan of the surface?
Absolutely.
You are going to need to use lasers for this.
Okay, lasers it is. I'm going to extend my many arms and start tapping away at the buttons.
You can wait. You can use. Yeah, I will give you 3 dice for this.
All right, I can play this thing like a piano. It's 3 below, 3 successes, which is a critical success.
That is a critical excess. A critical success.
Okay, yeah. What are conditions like on the surface of the planet, and are we about to be?
So in your immediate vicinity, there is very little movement. Perhaps because of the disturbance caused by your actual landing. But what you find is somewhere in the distance, there is actually a structure, a man-made structure, similar to the metal that you found out in space. And there is a high level of activity around this structure.
When you say activity?
There seems to be a lot of movement.
Okay. What, like there's a scanner and there's like lots of little dots just sort of moving, accelerating. Yeah, does our screens all sort of like green CRT screens
Yes,
in the fashion
absolutely.
of the movie Aliens? Okay, wonderful. Gentlemen, the situation is clear. There is mysterious activity centered upon this large structure here. I suggest we approach it and evaluate the situation. Set armaments to defrost. Or kill. Or, I mean, to be honest, I've not trained for situations like that. Set them to whatever really speaks to you.
So are the 3 of you getting in your Doom buggy?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm unreasonably excited by the space dune buggy. I'm happy to be a part of this.
I'm imagining you in your uniform that has like 6 different arms, and you're just like gripping onto the cage on top of the doom bugger, just feeling woo!
Yeah, who's driving? Who's riding shotgun?
I guess I'm driving since I'm the pilot. It's got fuzzy dice. It's
Yes, of
got,
course it does.
It's got a horn, and it also has like a like one in the exactly or
And
it has one that you pull and then
What we're learning is that just Captain Darcy loved things that made noises all the time.
cannot turn down the volume.
And so we have like a little cutscene montage of you driving towards this activity. Spencer, like...
And it's an asteroid, so there's very little gravity. So every time I hit a bump, which is constant,
We go sailing.
Yeah. Spencer is desperately trying not to be distracted by the fuzzy dice. Coral is trying desperately not to give in to those wild urges to just being like, woo! What is Bl0kchain doing?
Bl0kchain is just sitting unnaturally still.
Gyroscopics again.
Yeah.
Just perfectly balanced.
Yeah. No expression, just stoically letting it happen.
So you travel towards this structure for a good like 15, 20 minutes. And then on like the horizon, you start to be able to see movement. Do you continue on your journey towards it?
Yeah, because the first time I spot that movement, we are airborne by about 60 feet and tumbling. And there's not much that the controls of this are going to do for me right now.
I want you to make some kind of insight check. Let's see, what would that be?
Well, you could have a bad feeling about this. You could have a bad laser about this.
Like some kind of perception. Perception would be feelings, I guess. So you can make me roll for perception. You only get 1 though, because you're not prepared and you're not an expert.
And I want to get over 3. And I got a 4.
Okay, so the doom buggy goes rising up into the air, and you survey the scene in front of you. You see this strange metal structure, like sticking out, like kind of lopsided from the asteroid. It's a huge metal, almost cathedral-like structure. It looks like it's in some degree of disrepair. And as you look down, you see several, like right on the building, several swarms of 6-limbed humanoids swarming around it. And like closer towards you, there's like the odd 6-limbed humanoid like further out. So you're going to be interacting with these at some point pretty soon.
I do not want to interact with those things. Is there something we can do about this?
Yeah, when you say 6-limbed humanoids, are we talking they're walking around having sort of pleasant discourse with one another, clear evidence of sort of barter system, highly involved sort of musical culture? They look friendly?
No. The ones that you're currently seeing right now, they seem to be in some kind of like patrol/swarm mode. They're just kind of swarming about the surface.
My finger is hovering over the self-destruct button.
You do notice though that they seem to be either on the physical the metal structure, or like in a perimeter around it. But as the buggy comes down to the ground...
Oh, can I interject before that? How far away is this structure from us?
I'd say at least another 5 minutes drive.
Oh, right, okay.
Do I recognize these creatures with my vast knowledge of alien and humanoid anatomy?
Make me a lasers roll, and I will give you... Doctor. Yes, I'll give you 2 dice.
Both of those are on the number.
5.
Yes.
Dang! Okay, so you have 2 successes, and you can ask me 2 laser feeling questions. So the first thing I can tell you is that you don't exactly recognize what these creatures are. but you do recognize not the craftsmanship because you couldn't see from here, but this is very similar. That is something pinging in your databanks of like some rumored blueprints, like prototypes buried somewhere deep in your data core. And you recognize the works of Dr. Hayden, who had made prototypes for more efficient six-limbed humanoids that he had made as lab assistants, or was proposing to make as lab assistants back in the day to help him with his experiments.
Is he the doctor who also made me?
I'm guessing this is not one of your laser feelings questions. He is not the doctor that made you.
Okay.
Do you want him to be the doctor who made you?
No, I'm just asking questions here.
But like you have two laser feelings questions that can ask me like any reality about what's the current situation right now.
Okay.
So did you have a look at like the kind of questions that are on here? Because some of them are actually quite probing.
Probing. Space probing.
What's really going on here? That's a kind of big question. I guess I'm gonna ask, is it wise to engage with them, to continue our drive towards them?
So they seem to be quite slow moving, and they don't appear to be armed, but they do look aggressive.
Okay.
They look quite stupid too. Very, very low intelligence, AI.
Okay. Can I ask what the structure is that they're...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's a large piece of metal that's like jutting out of the surface. It looks like man-made metal that is like falling into disrepair. It's got a cathedral-like structure, but you could almost assume this is almost like what would be synonymous with like an evil wizard's tower or something like that. But most certainly man-made, and maybe this was, you could presume easily that this may have been the home base of potentially whatever created these beings that are swarming around it.
Okay. I think it's wise to stop here and talk about our approach.
I take on board what you've said. I look over the edge of the buggy as we are falling towards the ground and the swarm of creatures.
Let me give you like a scene setting that will allow this. So we've got, let's say that the cathedral shaped building is in like a crater.
Yeah.
There's like this crater shape, and like the beings are moving in like patrols around. Like there's like a gap between them and the structure.
Yep.
And so they're kind of swarming in and out around that, and you're on like the lip of the crater looking down.
Okay. All right. I am going to drive full speed to the lip of the crater and hit the edge. There's a cooler box underneath the seats. I take out a 6-pack each of Space Colas. I shake the fuck out of them, and I hand one to each of us. And I tell you, when I scream, pull all the tabs and point it out the back. And then I'm going to drive full speed, screaming, as we use these as extra thrust to jump from the lip of the canyon over the patrols to the tower. And I'm hoping we can land on the tower and drive to the top.
Oh
because it's on a slope.
The tower is pretty far. It's like another good 5 minutes drive.
I'm still going to try it.
Yeah, I was with this plan, to be honest. Also,
I mean, it's too awesome not to do, right?
You forget
Yeah,
that I have a highly efficient liquid siphon.
Exactly, yes.
I think now that we've established the Space Colas,
Yeah.
we need to use them.
And if you can
Let's check out
express
Cola, I think.
as much propellant type liquid from your body as you can.
Doctor, I would like you to mount me on the rear of the vehicle. I will correct our landing. And I pick up...
In front of everyone.
Who's being mounted? Is the vehicle being mounted, or are you?
Okay, so then you can roll 4 d6, 1 plus prepared plus expert plus help. Are you all? You're also helping because you've given them the lay of the land, so I'll give you 5d6.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be asking your medical help to shake me up a bit.
I'm mounting you on the rear of the vehicle, and I'm setting my my phaser to moisturize.
Fuck yeah.
Is this a feelings? I feel there's no mathematics has gone into this at all.
I do not think that there's any logic
there's
involved.
absolutely no logic or intelligence as part of this role.
So I want to roll over 3, and that's 1, 3 right on the button, then 2 successes, and I have another 2 rolls, and that's another right on the button and another success.
Wait, you're gonna have to tell me that again. So,
So
how many are like successes?
All of them.
So they're all successes.
All 5, and 2 of them are laser feelings.
And 2 are laser feelings.
Yeah.
For situations like this, the Space Corps, they send their best.
So I get the feeling from looking at this that you can't actually. I shouldn't have given you too many extra dice because it only goes up to 3. But
Okay,
but it sounds epic that you have 5.
Yeah.
So let's just do that. So like you shook up the colas so much that you go propelling right off the edge of the crater. Coral's extra juices are also like acting like a rudder, helping you, and like you're flying out into the air now, like heading down like right into about where the perimeter of where like the outer ring of this kind of swarm of these beings are. As you are propelling, do you want to ask me your questions as you're going down? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I see a door from here?
Yes, you can.
Good question.
Are we going to make it to that door with the trust that we have?
So, as I mentioned before, the beings are actually moving quite slowly,
Right.
despite having 6 limbs. So you could probably quite easily outrun some of these, especially if you crunch a few under the buggy.
Yeah, as a 6-limbed being that moves quite slowly, I have some empathy for them as I look into their eyes as we descend.
I have a real aversion to being in a crater with 6-limbed beings of any description
Excuse me?
whatsoever. I wouldn't consider your pseudopods to be limbs.
The same.
So we're watching in slow motion as the buggy is coming down, and you actually come down and land directly on one of these beings. You see this being rapidly coming up towards you, and you see a face suddenly turn to you, go, "Ah!" And it's a very strange, twisted, human-esque face. But actually, it's got like extra 2 sets of arms on their waist, and as the buggy is coming down on top of it, it's 2 little waist arms like put their hands over their face.
I put on the emergency lights and beep the horn.
And you land on top of it, and it just crunches right under the buggy. And as you speed forward, like you just basically throw out bits of like cybernetic limbs behind you, and you go racing forward further to this huge dark opening in the front of this large metallic structure.
I just shout out, sorry!
Yeah, how are the locals reacting?
Oh yeah, this made quite a lot of noise. As you propel forward, you can hear behind you sounds like annihilator, and you know that you've gotten their attention. And if anybody looks back behind you, you'll see that the swarm is now slightly changing and is changing their routes to start to follow you. But as I said, they're relatively slow.
I'm going to I turn on some calming music on the stereo, and I'm whispering affirmations to myself. You can do this. You're going to survive. You're not. You may be the only you may be the only human in this galaxy, but you can do it. You're okay. And then I look behind me at the 6-legged monsters that are chasing us.
I will say there is one arm from that creature that you destroyed is like hanging on the back and is kind of wiggling and still reaching out for whoever is closest.
I turn on the windscreen wipers to try and wipe it off.
You see a hand just kind of waving on the back window with the windscreen wiper, and
I press the water jet.
the water jet eventually like pushes it off the side of the window.
Thank God.
So you're coming up right now to the steps that are in front of this large gaping entranceway to this cathedral-esque structure.
I hit the tire inflate button, and the tires inflate almost explosively. They get huge, and we could just bounce up the steps.
Are you just going to drive right in?
Yeah.
Cool,
Don't
great.
get out the buggy, and I do not slow down.
Great. You drive right up the steps, right through the door, and suddenly you're in this dark, cool, relatively quiet chamber. It's a spherical chamber, or cylindrical chamber, I should say, or cone-shaped chamber even, because it kind of tapers towards the top. There's a large cone-shaped structure, but you can see that there are stairs leading upwards with multiple floors above you.
Are there any cyber zombies in here?
From what you can see right on now on the ground floor, you don't see any.
I pulled a handbrake and screeched to a halt. Spinning us like 180 degrees.
Are the tires still really big?
Yeah, they're enormous. It's
Fantastic.
It's basically a monster truck, but like a very, very small chassis on top.
You can also see as you spin around that there are giant doors, like they're open, but you can see that there are also giant doors that you could potentially close.
The ones that we just came through?
Yes.
Okay. I hit another button and it fires a harpoon into one of the doors, and I withdraw it and close the doors behind us.
This buggy's great.
Yeah, it's excellent. There's a lot of features.
Excellent.
I ordered all the features, all the add-ons.
And the fuzzy dice.
Yes.
You are now in a deathly quiet gloom. Apart from there is some kind of like radiating sound that's like, you know, when you ting like a tuning fork or something.
Yeah.
That's a residual effect of the noise that you have made inside this chamber.
In dark spaces, I bioluminesce like a deep sea fish. And so the area around us is bathed in a sort of like teal turquoise sort of underwater light.
Wonderful.
I thought your species' luminosity was based on sexual attraction.
Look, it's very complicated. Like, at this time of year, in this part of the galaxy, like, that's just what the coloring is at the moment. Just be grateful we're not in the dark.
And this slime that's on everything?
Look, it's the humidity. I don't know. Moisten me. Moisten me.
That's my secret. I'm always horny.
That's my secret. I'm always moist.
Yeah.
You can hear also a faint coming from above you.
Do the superior sensors extend to the buggy?
No.
God.
I mean, I was going to suggest I can use my printer, scanner, fax machine, space tablet thingy to scan for energy sources, or just look up. I can probably do both of those.
I mean, from just looking up, you can tell that there is some kind of energy radiating from above.
Okay, I'm not
You
actually.
can naturally feel
I'm
that.
not actually aroused enough to light up the whole room, is what I'm saying. Okay.
That is your choice.
It seems like a good moment to ask, sort of, Doctor, your robot chassis, how physically capable is it? Because I might need someone to carry me. I move very slowly.
Oh, please crang it. Please tell me you're gonna crang it.
I will carry you, sir.
Thank you. I will try and lead us with talent, foresight, and courage. And with your sturdy support, we cannot fail. And I would like to rack my sort of distributed neural network of brainoid organs to what do I know about the sort of device that might rip a hole in reality? This seems a little above my pay grade, but do I at least have a some sort of schema for how one might possibly deal with this?
Roll me a lasers. I'll give you 2.
That is 2 4s, which are laser feelings.
Ooh.
My little octopoid brains are sparking to life. Something is occurring to me.
So what would you like to know?
That's a big question. To know, what is the nature of the destructive force likely to be? And is it something that, for instance, the activation of the self-destruct sequence on a small space buggy might be able to disrupt.
Oh, we're getting into deep sci-fi stuff here that Jan doesn't know very well. Let's see. Ripping a hole in reality. So Coral has heard from many folkloric stories and stories from other cultures about multi-dimensional theory, and that there are very thin walls between these multi-dimensions, and had always in their cultural folklore been warned that tearing down even but one of those walls could lead to realities bleeding into one another. But if all the walls were blown out between these infinite realities, all of these realities would be sucked into one another until they become, like when you just mix multiple paints together and they just becomes this brown mess. That all of these realities at the same time would meld into one another and just become a whole, full of mass but nothingness.
Okay, so it's not just a question that, some more humans might leak into this part of the galaxy. It's,
No.
Okay, interesting.
Multiple dimensions will try to bleed together and just form this, nothingness mass of too many realities, one on top of the other, blending together and merging and... Yes.
Does that mean that Real Housewives of Alpha Centauri will not be renewed?
Well, I mean, the patriarchy will be destroyed, so we're going to have a whole new, idea of what is and is not appropriate daytime reality TV, so...
I know what's appropriate daytime reality TV. I enjoy it.
What was your second question?
Does this seem like something that could be disrupted by, for instance, the exploding self-destruct function of a space buggy?
Function, yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell that this is something that would depend on what kind of device is being used to do this. If it is a extremely huge giant device, then the explosive power of one small doom buggy would definitely not be enough. But there may be other ways of disrupting such a design. If it was a tiny handheld portal gun, absolutely. But it depends on to what degree of hole in reality this mechanism would be trying to make, and proportionate to the size of machine that would be needed to create this hole in reality.
Okay, so I'll just use my best judgment when it comes to it. Is what my octopus brains are telling me.
You would definitely tell, but Jan hasn't decided that yet.
Okay, I do not give away any sign of doubt as I secure my tentacles carefully around the shoulders of your space lab coat. And I'm prepared to point in a direction like Napoleon on his horse.
Okay.
Though I do indicate to our good lieutenant, the driver, that we should probably stay in the buggy, because this is an asset that we do not wish to leave behind.
Never
So
get out
that's
of the
really
buggy.
No reason why.
I don't know what kind of away missions you've been on, but you never get out of the buggy.
What, even when going indoors to buildings in general?
That's why there's crash bars on the front of it.
Good man.
I turn on the torch on my communication device, which I assume is not a very good torch.
It's just a smartphone.
Yeah, and I try and see what's up there.
You see the underside of the next floor upwards. There's several staircases going upstairs.
Staircases I can drive up? How big are they?
They're like human, leg levels. You would have to walk.
Okay. And above us is just ceiling, or we can see right to the top of the structure?
There's ceiling above you.
I don't want to say I think we need to get out and walk, but it does look kind of that way.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a more open structure, we could just use that grappling hook and just winch ourselves to the top of this.
That's not going to work though. I put one of the. I reach underneath the driver's seat and I take out, those steering wheel locks, red and black steering wheel lock, and I put that in place. And I take all my tapes and I put them into my backpack. And what else usually gets fucked?
Don't leave your laptop on the seat.
Don't leave.
Don't leave any change in the side thing either.
Yeah.
I use my data pad to print a little label that says no tools left in this buggy overnight.
And I put a really old and frayed parking permit on the front. That's clearly a photocopy that I made like 10 to 15 years ago.
And I do a little salute with my peaked cap and say, everything according to regulations, Lieutenant. Doing the Space Corps proud.
Is Bl0kchain carrying anything with them?
Well, Bl0kchain is carrying Carl with him.
Ah,
The most
are you
important
cranking
cargo
it?
of
Yes.
all.
So, you want to proceed up the stairs?
We're going up the stairs.
Yeah, who's going first? Who got the red jumpsuit?
I did. Did I? Hopefully, I managed to get this gun to kill.
You might.
I've broken off the dial at this point, and I've just crammed in some paper clips to try and push it forward. So it's as close to. I mean, I got it to 5, and then I broke that off and I pushed it further with the paper clip. So I hope it's working. And I'm holding. My hand is shaking as I hold this gun out in front of me.
We're right behind you, Lieutenant.
Quite a long way behind me by the looks of things.
So you begin ascending the stairs. About 3/4 of the way up, as you just start being able to peek over the top stair, you can see what looks to be various corpses laid on the ground.
How many limbs do they have?
Would the medical officer like to make a check on this?
To count their limbs? Oh, fair enough, given who we're dealing with.
Wait, are we there yet, or are we just
You're
seeing
almost
them?
at the top of the stairs, but you can see as you're coming over the top of the stairs, like the scene of the next floor. As your eye line like comes to the level of the stairs, you can see like what appear to be bodies on the floor.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll try to identify A, what creatures those are, and B, if I see any obvious sign of how they could have died.
I give you 3 dice.
A 5, a 3, and a 1.
So you have 1 laser feelings and 3 successes. So from this you can see that these appear to be really almost like mummified humanoid corpses. They don't appear to be synthetic. They appear to be organic. They are wearing lab coats. And the rest of the floor also seems to have various lab tech equipment. And various corpses are holding like other pieces of like machinery and such.
I would like to know where whatever has killed them is.
You have seen death like this before. This is death by like a sudden like energy wave. You could maybe assume that there was an accident here. And they were experimenting with something, and there was an accident that happened that caused some kind of energy wave that immediately killed all of these humanoids that are on this floor. But there doesn't seem to be any kind of technology active on this floor.
Okay, so the good news is there's no immediate danger for us to go on.
Other than the immediate danger we were in before. But
Yes,
no,
but
yeah.
we're not gonna die once we reach this floor. That's
Honestly, good to know.
Yeah.
Is it dark up here?
It's quite dark, but Coral's luminescent is really helping you.
Oh, right. It's kind of a creepy glow. I'm looking for light switches.
There is light coming from the next floor up, though.
Oh, okay.
And that...
I would like to check the pockets of the nearest corpse.
You find a lanyard with an ID card. It is Dr. Reynold Kramer of Hayden Labs.
Okay. Do we know anything about this? Hayden Labs?
I mean, do we?
You've mentioned Hayden already, so we know the name.
Yes, he is. He is the one who has created these six-limbed cyber zombies.
Why did he do that?
I assume it was an accident. He wanted to create them as lab assistants.
I'm going to change the sign. You know the sign they have in labs, number of days since the last fatal accident?
Yeah.
I changed it to 0.
Yeah, does the place generally seem old, like it's been abandoned for a long time and these bodies have like mummified over time? Or does it seem like something horrible happened to some people who are recently alive and they've been like microwaved?
It seems like a bit of both. Like you get the impression that the mummification is somewhat a result of like the immediate energy of wave that went out, but you also can see there's a very thick layer of dust on everything. There are, however, like disturbances to the dust. That there has been activity through here, but since these humanoids were destroyed, quite a degree of time has passed.
All right.
Do the disturbances in the dust lead towards the next stairs or anything?
They lead both up and down the stairs.
All right, I'm going to start following. Sorry, you were about to do something.
Oh, no, I think that basically covered it. If we have a trail to follow, I'm going to point my tentacle like Napoleon in the direction that the braver crewman is already going.
I am following the point.
So as you start to head up the next flight of stairs, you can like hear louder the vroom, vroom, vroom. And you can also now hear movement on the next floor. There is a skittering sounds.
Dear God, this is not going to be good.
I inflate my bell-like dome cranium space for maximum volume, and I announce, in the name of the Space Consortium, I command you to surrender, in a generally upwards direction.
Like, I hear you start to talk, and I go to try and stop you, and I'm going,
Ha! Where's my mouth?
what the fuck?
You can't find it.
Why are you telling them?
You put your hand over one orifice, and it turns out the sound isn't coming from there.
There is a skitter. That's hard to say.
Skittering isn't good.
That's really hard to say really
Maybe they're
fast.
skittering away. Maybe they fear my authority.
I've never heard a skitter that ended in something nice happening.
And then silence, apart from the vroom, 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 vroom.
You know what, skitters? Things with more than 2 legs.
I mean, it's more or less what we're expecting.
I'm gonna hold my my mobile phone up with the camera on, and like I'm gonna use it like a periscope just over the top of the rim of the stairwell, and then take it down and look at the pictures that I took. I get increasingly terrified as I go through them, and presumably a face gets closer and closer.
So it's not super well lit. On the next floor, there's the light. It seems to be emanating from whatever is making this vroom, vroom, vroom sound. You can make out in the middle of the room there is some kind of robotic arm and some kind of tech device that has a large crystal inside it, and this is where the energy and the light is emanating from. You can see on a desk next to it, there seems to be a lot of papers, but you're too low down to see what's on the papers. And there are several more bodies here, but that is all you can see.
Sorry, there are cyber zombies moving around that I can see.
No, you can't see anything moving.
Okay.
There are several bodies on the ground, like on the floor below. You don't see any movement.
Hand shaking, I show you the pictures. There's more bodies, but nothing moving that I can see. Although I didn't do a video, these are still images, so I'm not sure how I'd tell.
Can I tell if these bodies died the same way?
It appears that they died the same way too.
Well, that's comforting. Not really, no.
Well, gentlemen, one way in, it seems, and one way out. I think we might have to storm the stairway. And I move, sort of, like, put one tentacle out as if to say, well, what are you waiting for?
All right. Okay.
You sort of like dig your legs into me like a horse.
Yeah.
I check all the air seals on my suit. I check my gun, and I look back and confirm that you are in fact not moving forward in any way.
No, I am continuing. Your lack of response indicates that you have surrendered, and any further action on your part will be taken as a direct attack on the Grand Space Consortium.
Oh.
You have been warned.
Dear God, he's still shouting at them.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not going to get any better, so I go forward.
Yeah, it's up to you as to whether we go forward.
I follow, yes.
Okay, so you ascend the stairs. You can see what appears to be a mix between a laboratory and some kind of manufacturing plant. If you look on the desk that's next to this like large arm in the middle that's holding this kind of crystal, there are various papers that look like blueprints covered in an alien language. And it appears to be blueprints for some kind of device that you can't really, at this point without a roll, you can't really determine what they are. There's many corpses littered around the ground and like discarded pieces of metal and various pieces of goop hanging around. And the light, there's no natural light sources here apart from the crystal, so like above you the ceiling is very high and it's all kind of dark above you, and you do hear like the faint skittering above you.
All right, my focus is on the skittering, and I'm constantly pointing my gun at different spots on the ceiling or on the walls, trying to catch something while presumably you go and take a look at the desk.
Yeah, I'm interested in this crystal. I guess I would sort of tap you in the direction of that, like some sort of colicky child.
Yes, I follow the tap, but on the way I put my finger in some of the goop and take a taste.
An android cat can taste.
Yeah, that's where my most sensitive senses are. To maybe so I can identify what creature or whatever or what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Rather disconcerting when you lick people's wounds to figure out what's wrong with them.
Make me a lasers roll. You can roll me 3 dice.
That's a 5, a 3, and a 2. So 3 successes.
3 successes.
And laser feelings.
Mm-hmm. So you take a scoop of this goop and you give it a big lick. You get the readings in your sensors of synthetic humanoid
Tissue, biomass?
Yes, biomass. It's like synthetic human biomass.
Also, this is basically cannibalism.
Yeah, in a way. It's definitely gone off. Like this has maybe been synthesized to make some kind of android, but has turned in a very strange way, and it does seem to still have some kind of like self-perpetuating energy to it. Like it hasn't completely deteriorated, but it doesn't feel right. There's something odd about this goop.
Okay. Can I just use my laser feelings to ask to get a bit more specifics on that?
Oh yeah. Like what? In what way?
Well, why is it odd? Like what does it indicate?
So synthetic life forms need some kind of core energy source to power themselves. This tissue seems to, like, they were trying to synthesize something that had its own self-perpetuating energy source, and of almost like an organic being, but but it's almost like it's the thing that was holding it has necrotized over time, but the energy source itself has not necrotized.
Okay. Interesting.
Hence a sort of creation of a state of undeath, right? Like they're still
Yeah.
powered, but their tissues are fucked and not good anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe they used to be smarter and more talkative.
Since you got 3 successes, I'm going to give you something else as well. As you're taking a scoop of the goop, you're crouched down next to one of the corpses. And I said before that the corpses were in like a mummified state. As you look across to one of the corpses, the skin of the mummy's face is missing and it's just bone underneath.
Okay. Well, something was.
In fact,
something eating them?
there are several corpses you notice now that are missing the face skin.
Okay. Maybe there was something eating them, or
Yeah,
were they
does it look
ripping
like they were
off?
eaten off
Yeah,
or ripped
does it-
off?
Yeah,
Looks ripped off.
it looks ripped off.
I don't know which one's worse.
Yeah.
So you said that you're wildly flashing your light around.
Yeah, and pointing my gun in every corner, just constantly.
Make me a roll. I'll be, I guess, a feelings roll. I give you 3.
I want over, so that's 2 successes.
2 successes. Great. So you're scanning above you, whipping around, and at first you whip around and you get like just in the edges like some form of movement.
Like cockroaches fleeing from light.
And,
Oh, that doesn't get better.
and then like at one point you spin around and you catch something that's like stationary. And it's what appears to be a white form that has 6 legs that's hanging on the ceiling. And as you look a little bit longer, you realize the white is like a lab coat. It's got 6 limbs that are holding onto the ceiling, but you can see in places where like the flesh has fallen off and it's got like cybernetics underneath. And as you hold the light, the head of this creature
Brilliant.
turns around and there's just like the mummified skin of a face on the front and it roars at you like
I close my eyes and I just start pulling the trigger.
Yeah, you defrost the fuck out of that thing.
And I'm running away. I'm just shooting over my shoulder behind me, eyes closed, screaming.
make me a roll.
How many dice?
Feelings, that will be... I think that's only a 1. You're not necessarily an expert with a gun, are you?
I'm not an expert, but I might be prepared considering I was...
I think that this is like a jump scare.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I got a 6.
Oh, fantastic. So you start just blasting, blam, 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 blam. You don't hit the being that you saw, but you do, as you're like blasting like this, you do hear from like another area of the wall on the other side. And then like there's like a kaboom, and some heavy object drops to the ground.
I don't even notice that. I'm just screaming, it's time to run away! Or do something. Do something active.
All right, noble steed, where are we going?
I guess we run.
Are there more stairs going up?
Yes. But at this point, it's getting quite narrow.
Right.
And there is a hole in the center of the ceiling.
What's through the hole?
You can see it's quite dark above, but it's getting quite narrow at that point. You can't really see beyond that.
Okay. I guess I run towards the stairs. Still firing behind me, just running towards the stairs.
Are you going upstairs?
Yes.
Yeah, is that from where the like rhythmic pulsing noises have been coming from?
No, the
That was
pulsing is
this
coming
room.
from the crystal in this room.
Yeah, I figured. All right, I might have to dismount at this point.
Okay.
But, good luck out there. Yeah, as if these two are running, I'm going to try and detach with a sort of wet sound. And
Can you please do the wet sound first?
hang on, it's like because there's lots of tentacles, it's like kind of like that.
Not as disgusting as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, thank you. You know, my people are actually very civilized and sophisticated once you get to know them. And I'm going to try and flop towards the crystal and sort of like tentacle over towards it and attempt to interface with it and understand its processes.
Okay. Make me a lasers roll.
I
give you 3.
Okay. I was about to scream back that I'm making a distraction and hope that was helpful, but 3 is the maximum.
Yeah, I'm really hoping, despite the fact that I'm glowing, like these guys are noisy and large enough that maybe I can.
You're pretty small, and the crystal is also glowing, so.
Nice. That is. Is that a 6?
That's a 6, yeah.
Okay, and I wanted below. That is 1 success.
1 success.
But it is a.
It's a laser feelings?
It is indeed.
Cool. So you managed to slurp your way over in a very non-disgusting way to the
Thank you.
crystal. What did you want to do to the crystal?
I wanted to attempt to understand its mystic resonances because I've always had an interest in the crystalline beings and the sort of structures that so mimic carbon-based life that you can also see in silicon-based.
Do you touch it?
I 100% touch it, yes.
How many tentacles do you put on it?
4.
You put 4 of your tentacles on it, and you're suddenly hit, just like instant, bam, 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 of like visions of different lives, different places, different universes, like bam, 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 bam. This is a crystal that resonates with the life of multiple different points of time and space in one place.
As you guys are fleeing, you hear a voice hollering, "I am God!" This seems very appropriate to me.
And you have a laser feelings?
Yeah. I would like to know how I can redirect the tremendous, nay, divine power of this artifact towards my own will, instead of perhaps to rip a hole in the between dimensions.
It would seem that just touching this crystal is really stretching the capacity of your brain. Like, it's just expanding it crazily, like touching and seeing visions of all different like versions of you from different areas of the world and different dimensions. But you also get the feeling that removing it from whatever device is currently under construction would be beneficial. Like, if you wanted to take it with you, you would definitely go mad within a very small amount of time.
How big is it? Could I take it with me?
It's about 5 foot tall.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I feel like you would have been better spaced for this because you're used to having your mind flooded with unnecessary information. Yeah, I'm not trained for this. So
I'll throw a thermos to you on the presumption that this is on a pressure pad of some kind.
to swap them out. Yeah, so you say like remove it from its housing might be beneficial.
They're constructing some kind of device. This seems to be like the main thing that powers the device. Without this crystal, this device is not going to function. This is a very dangerous item, but it obviously needs the rest of the device around it to function in a way that might rip a hole in reality.
Okay, and it is kind of too big for me to easily haul it around?
Well, you did grab hold of a 6-foot ass-to-ass pyramid.
I mean, that was it
earlier.
in space. You know, gravity is a bit of a problem.
But you can flatten yourself so much that you could stretch it. You could probably cover this thing entirely.
Okay, I'll Kirby it, yeah. Okay, if you guys look, you will see an octopus seeming to become very intimate with a large crystal. While yelling about how it sees the light in the future and all things are one.
You can make a roll to try and remove it from the device. Are you using lasers or feelings?
I think this has to be feelings.
Okay.
I'm a mollusk of science, but some things science cannot explain.
I will give you 3 dice.
Most kind. Wait, these should be
Under, it's feelings, so it's over.
1 success and 1 laser feelings.
Ooh. Let's see. you curvy around it, and then you use like just a little points on the edge of your skin to push off. Like you use one of your tentacles to like unclasp something, and then another little piece to just trying to push off. You manage to wriggle it free, but as you land on the ground with the crystal on top of you, you feel part of one of your pseudopods becomes trapped in like a little grip, and you lose one of the ends of your tentacles. And as you land on the ground, you basically get crushed underneath the crystal. So although it is now removed from its housing, you are currently being bombarded by these visions and the ever-expanding multitudes of facets of understanding of all different dimensions and realities in your brain.
So what you're suggesting is I'm not going to be terribly useful to the crew as a whole just at the moment.
If you weren't so moist, I would say that you are like a gibbering, drooling wreck right now, but you're already relatively moist.
This is true, and my personal language has been referred to as gibbering by unkind humans. Or unkind human in this case, given that there's only one in the galaxy.
So I would consider yourself currently incapacitated at this point in time until someone assists you.
I have ascended to a higher plane of existence.
And you have laser feelings.
Oh, I feel like this is quite good to satisfy my curiosity at this point at the nexus of all times and places. Can I wait on that one?
Sure.
I'll ask the universe something in a second.
Mm-hmm. So what is Bl0kchain doing?
I think I'm also running up the stairs. I wanna know what's on the next level.
Mm-hmm. So the two of you go up the stairs, and you see it's quite a small chamber with another hole in the top. And you get the feeling that this was maybe like where the energy beam from this device was going to be exiting the building. It's pretty wide. It's maybe about 20 feet. I don't know what that is in meters, sorry.
Like 4.
4 Fabios.
Okay. Yeah,
and it like opens up just into the sky above. And there is also one of these crazed looking cyber zombies on the like. If you guys came up the opposite like stairs on either side, it's like on the ledge between the two of you, and it sees both of you and is instant like. It's also wearing a mummy mask.
And they're directly above where I am, right?
Yes.
Okay.
How high is it? How high is the ceiling? So how far is it from the hole down to the floor where he is?
12 feet. So 2 Fabios. No, I think it's even higher than that. 4 Fabios. It's a big, large resonance chamber.
Okay. I shout at you to start reciting prime numbers, because that's what upsets cyber zombies. They have to start counting as well.
Of course it does.
And I will jump through the hole to land on the crystal. I'm assuming that you're gooey enough that I can now surf the crystal down the stairs.
I mean, there's one way to find out, Lieutenant. I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, this is such a feelings roll.
And I'll just... My end point here is to get back to the buggy so I can grab a spark plug out of the engine and smash the crystal with the end of the spark plug.
Nice.
How many dice?
2.
Meanwhile, good luck with all those cyber zombies.
2.
I got a 6, so that's a pass and a fail.
Okay, you jump down into the hole. You land on top, unfortunately, of Coral. Coral is relatively moist, thanks very much to Bl0kchain and their wonderful care. You don't successfully manage to like get them directly to the stairs. You have to like roll with them, and you start sliding down the stairs. And as you are like halfway down the stairs, you see that there are 2 cyber zombies like perched in front of the buggy. Bl0kchain, you are on the top floor with this rogue scientist zombie.
Just reciting prime numbers, I guess. Yeah, I'm doing that while also slowly backing away again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see much in this chamber that I could do anything with.
Not particularly, no.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of hoping to get away from the zombie.
So, as you can back down into the other room, but you do remember that there were multiple skittering sounds coming from this room.
Oh. Completely forgot about the skittering. Okay, I guess then I have to fight. I will use my not legally allowed to call it phaser.
Your phase pistol.
Yes! And I will set it to...
Medium brown.
already dead. Yes. Yes.
Slightly toasted.
Yeah.
So you come down the stairs. You quickly glance from left to right. You don't see anything. You start to like head across the floor where you can hear the other two downstairs and like the faint sounds of zombies roaring at them. And as you turn like round the corner of the wall to go down the stairs, you see on the outer like round wall there is one of these zombies attached to the wall. It's about 6-7 foot long, so a little bit taller than Fabio. I like that Fabio is now a frame of reference for feet and inches. It's wearing a lab coat, and it also turns its head around, and it has this mummified mask. And if you scan in your databanks, you can see that this is actually the face of Dr. Hayden.
He has made himself into a zombie? What?
Well, it's more that Dr. Hayden was here. He was one of the corpses. Maybe one of the zombies has removed his face to carry on his work.
Ah, I see. I mean, I can't do anything with that. I'm just gonna shoot it.
That's also fine.
Like, he's not gonna have, like, Dr. Hayden's brain or anything. Like, I can't have a conversation with him.
I mean, don't know.
To be fair, we haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, you haven't tried talking to them yet.
Okay, I tried talking to them.
Uh-huh.
I just ask if it's Dr. Hayden. If he's in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is this a feelings roll? Or is this a lasers roll?
No, I'm not, for the first time in my life, I'm not driven by logic. I just feel like there's something of Dr. Hayden left.
His robotic heart grew 2 sizes that day.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 3 dice for that.
Okay, this is going to be a hard roll. Yeah, no, it's 1... Does it still count? Like on the...
1 laser feeling.
A 5 is a laser feeling,
Okay.
a 6 is a pass.
Okay, then I have 1 laser feeling.
And
And
that's
a
also
laser
a pass.
feeling is always a success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Success, yeah.
So you say, is that Dr. Hayden? And this face was like hissing at you, and then when you say Dr. Hayden, it stops. It kind of twitches its head back and forth at you curiously, and it starts to like descend the wall, like curiously coming up to you with an inquisitive, if it had muscles to squint its eyes at you, is coming and looking you in an inquisitive. What's your laser feelings?
My laser feelings is I wanna understand what drove Dr. Hayden. What his deal was.
Okay. From what you know about Dr. Hayden, and from what you're seeing right now, you can piece some things together. Dr. Hayden was furthering some, like for him, very cutting edge and really important research. You can see he was potentially interested in accessing multiple dimensions and understanding the nature of reality, but his body was old and frail. And maybe at the same time, he was researching making other lab assistants. Like he made this prototype for lab assistants. Perhaps he was looking for a way to continue his research once his human body had already given up, so that his research could continue to the point where humanity could finally access multiple dimensions and realities.
Okay. I feel like a wave of understanding, because I also feel like human bodies are frail and bad. Yeah, but is there anything we should, like, you have the energy crystal? That means, like,
If you wanted to take some of his research, you could. The blueprints and everything are there.
yeah, I look deep into his eyes and I ask if he wants me to continue his research.
Shouldn't have taken our eyes off that doctor.
Make me a lasers roll, and I'll give you 3 dice.
Do I want to go under? Yes.
Under, yeah.
Okay, all successes.
The 3 successes.
Yeah.
No 5s.
Nope.
This is a critical success. You say that, and the creature like quickly like scrabbles over to you and is almost like grabbing onto your lapels and pulling itself up and looking deeply. It's just this like cybernetic face with this mummified face on top of it, looking deep into your eyes, and then it takes one of his arm from its waist, puts his hand into the lab coat pocket, and gives you the lanyard that was in the pocket.
I take the lanyard and put it around my neck. That's
Pats you on the head. No, I'm kidding.
That's what a lanyard is, right? It's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I shoot it.
I won't make you roll for that. It's gained your trust.
But like I do it like, you know, like at the end of The Fly, like I cry doing it.
Please give us a dramatic
You whisper
description.
into his cybernetic ear, sleep now, sweet prince.
Give us a dramatic description of this ending for you.
Well, I put my phaser thing like directly against his forehead, and I touch his cheek, and I go, "Ooh, gross."
Great thing to hear from a doctor.
And then I shoot it,
Awesome.
and then I just wail.
Do you take any of the research or anything?
Oh yeah, everything.
Okay,
Yeah, everything I can grab.
awesome.
Yeah.
So whilst you're grabbing all that stuff from the lab, you guys are sliding down the stairs into the face of 2 of these cyber zombies.
Yes. Now you are wrapped completely around this.
Essentially, yes. There's a
Okay.
thin coating of octopus around a hard core of crystal.
I'm going to reach inside one of your cavities.
With consent, I hope.
You suggested you had cavities that you use as pockets.
Stranger things
Like
have
an
happened,
air
yes.
pocket. I reach inside because you're stretched so thin, presumably I can see what's inside
I am
them as well.
baffled as to where you're going with this, but go for it. Yep.
I reach inside, I grab a packet of Mentos that I spot,
Oh, yeah.
and then from my space bum bag, I take a space cola, I shake it up, and I stick the Mentos in, and I throw it at the zombies.
Improvised grenade, very
Exactly.
nice.
This man understands one scientific principle, and it is that gases love to expand, whether they're powering a spaceship.
It's all basic. That's physics. Yeah.
Give me a lasers 2.
That's 2 successes, and one of them is a laser feelings.
Great, that is a great success. You shake up the Mentos, you throw the can at one of the cyber zombies, and it catches it. And like 4 of its arms, and it kind of looks at it quizzically, and then it explodes, and there was like a huge gash in part of its skin covering, and it gets all of this liquid in the wires, and it starts to spark, and it falls onto the ground twitching as its internal workings start to spark out from the
Juices. Cola.
juices, sure.
All the sugar in the
Yeah,
cola
yeah, yeah.
is shorted circuits.
Exactly.
So there's still one more,
There's still one more. It's on the hood of the buggy.
and I have a laser feelings.
You have a laser feelings, yes. You also have a laser feelings
As do I,
still.
yes.
Yeah.
You can save it if you want.
No, are there any nerds in his pockets?
I thought you were going to say, are there any nerds in the room? I'm like, you're in a fucking science lab. I tell you what, make me use this d20.
Yeah.
1 to 10 or 11 to 20. It's a pure luck roll. Or should I give you a d100 actually?
You roll it there. It's grand. I should ask for something better, something that I had a plan for.
So
You'll get nerds or no nerds, and you have to work from there.
Yeah.
So 50 and under is a fail.
Okay.
51 above, is that a right split?
Yeah. Fair enough.
There are nerds. It's a 43. Sorry, there's no nerds.
I didn't know what to do with them anyway, so it's fine.
Did you just want some candy?
Yeah.
I'm communing with a crystal that is a nexus of all possible like times and spaces, right?
Oh yeah. You're not really even present right now.
Ask if they know where to get nerds.
I'm gonna ask it because I'm not really seeing what's going on around me at the moment. I'm gonna ask, is there some way in the endless twisting branches of causality and fate, some might say, is there any way the lieutenant could ever go home to where the other humans are?
Interesting.
Like, is there a way, that sometime someone could make that happen for him?
Roll me feelings, and I give you.
I've prepared for this, but I'm definitely not
You're
trained
not
for it.
an expert in this. No, that's a 2.
Feelings?
Yes.
That is 1 success. And 1 laser feeling.
So, even though your brain is just like, it's like images like so fast, like you can't even keep up with them. You try to, there's like the rising feeling of nausea. There's just far
As if
too
someone's
many.
reaching their hand into my body cavities. Feels weird.
It's like you're getting like an overload of like sensory information, and you like feel this nausea rising. But then you think about you get like a flash of the lieutenant throwing this Mentos bomb, protecting you, and you start to think about the sad past of the lieutenant, how much he's cared for you, and how sad his life has been being the last only human, and this thought being so strong in your mind, this feeling, emotion of what you feel for the lieutenant is so strong that you feel yourself, your vision, what you're seeing in your mind's eye go whoop, 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 whoop. And you come into like an image of a planet, and then you see there is a small city. It looks like a very technologically advanced city, and you see some creatures that are somewhat reminiscent of humans, seem to be walking around.
So dry.
Yes, they have terrible senses of humor.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll tell him about this someday. Maybe I won't. Good to know.
And you're back to being bombarded with all this sensory information.
Bam! And am I aware that I am in some sort of life or death confrontation where I've just been used as a surfboard?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, cool.
You're gotta hope one of these two is gonna collect you or disconnect you from the crystal.
Okay, cool. Good luck, guys.
Bl0kchain?
I'm gonna try to make my way down to the other two.
The way seems pretty clear. There's in the middle of the building, there's the buggy. There is one of these cyber zombies like crouched on top of the hood. There's like a fountain of cola coming from just the side of it, which you can see is currently foaming and drowning over another cyber zombie, and you can see the lieutenant is kind of crouched down in that really cool superhero pose, desperately grasping for another cola that is not there. So you do, and you can see the crystal boom, 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 boom on the floor.
The deeper you rummage into my various body pockets, you see the brighter my bioluminescence becomes. You're not sure what that means.
There's a boom,
Not
boom.
happy with it though.
There's a boom, boom, boom. The crystal on the floor, and it has a strange kind of like texture around it, and you realize it's probably coral, stretched out very thin over this. So you currently have quite a clear route down the stairs.
Okay, yeah, I make my way towards Carl, and I have all the professor's research. I try to I try to find something that tells me what is happening with him right now, because for me it just looks like he's kind of glued to this crystal, and I assume vibrating violently.
Yeah, you see like a single eye that's just rolling rapidly.
Make me a lasers. You can have. I give you 2 because you've got documentation to read.
As an android, you can
Okay.
probably read really fast.
Yeah.
Like Johnny 5.
That is a laser feelings and a success.
That's 2 successes, very well. So you, from scanning the research, you can tell that this is a crystal that resonates with multiple different frequencies of different realities. If bare organic flesh is touching this crystal, it's very likely all at once getting bombarded with all the different frequencies of all these different realities. So you can tell that he's probably super out for the count. Like he's witnessing too many different dimensions of realities at once, and you also know you should probably not touch it. Actually, as a synthetic organism, you could probably touch it.
That's good to know. Okay, I'm gonna use my laser feelings to find out if I can just kind of, like, if I would disconnect him from it, would he survive that, or would that in any way be damaging?
I think physically he will be fine. Mentally, it could take him some time.
Yeah, I guess that's the risk we need to take. So
Yeah, you're not a psychologist. That's not your
yeah,
department.
yeah. I'm even less qualified for that. So I just kind of peel his tentacles off the crystal, and I take the crystal myself.
Oh,
Because
put me
we need it.
back.
So remember, the crystal is like 5 foot. It's Jan-sized. So it's a pretty big crystal.
Yeah, I'm an android. I have super strength.
Well, I'm just saying that you would have to physically carry it in both arms. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's not something you just put in your pocket.
Right. But we need.
I like
we
the
can't
break it
leave,
with a spark
We can't
plug
leave
plan.
it here because of the whole reality destroying thing. Also, I need it for my future research.
I mean, what you decide to do with it was up to you. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
not something you could just tuck in your pocket.
Yeah. No, I'm carrying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spencer.
So there's still a cyber zombie.
Yes.
I don't even look at it. I just blast as I run over and pull up the bonnet of the space buggy and rip out the spark plugs, and I just start fucking throwing them at the crystal.
Okay, so you what do you want to attempt?
I want to you know, if you take a spark plug and you hit a pane of glass with it, it'll shatter.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, well,
It is proverbial. I've never seen it happen, but
it definitely works.
Okay, is this a lasers or a feelings, do you think?
It feels like feelings because I'm not basing it on any
I mean,
empirical evidence.
it would be kind of based on engineering, right? If you know that spark plugs do that to glass, you don't know it's going to do this to the crystal, but...
Yeah, it's more based on juvenile delinquency.
Then I guess feelings. And I'll give you an expert die for that, so you can have 3 dice for that.
That is 2 passes. No, hang on, it's over. Yeah, 2 passes.
Okay, so you start pulling out parts of the engine. You get multiple spark plugs between your fingers in a Wolverine-esque
Oh,
move.
well, awesome, yes.
And you leap forward. The crystal is now actually, unfortunately, in Bl0kchain's hands, and you snicked into the crystal. And I don't know what it looks like when a spark plug does that in the glass. What does it explode or does it just shatter?
It just shatters and falls to pieces.
So as you're getting close, there's almost like a slow-mo moment where as you're getting closer, time slows down and you can feel the warmth from the crystal. Almost like the energy of the crystal is trying to force back the spark plugs, but then time finally allows you to go dink. And there's a pause and and then cracks start to appear in the crystal, and then suddenly the crystal just falls apart in Bl0kchain's hands, and the cyber zombie that was on the hood instantly just falls onto the ground, deactivated.
That was lucky.
Oh.
Like, no, the secrets to the universe.
These two are just said like,
Yeah.
no!
Says a feeble trumpeting voice from somewhere on the ground,
You'll never
which is
see the other humans again.
I get the cooler box and I try to scoop Coral into
thank
it
you.
because I don't know how stretched out you are at the moment.
I'm contracting rapidly. Just the cooler box is perfect. It's so soft. It's so cool.
There's like a really awkward silence in the buggy on the way back to the ship. Do you want to give a little epilogue of like the week from this moment to landing on Kangtar after these events? Of what's happening and what's your feelings of your characters?
I spend the week trying to figure out how to bring up how to approach Coral and ask them if they have noticed one of my gloves that I think I left inside of you.
Yeah, I've been recuperating. That slowly worked its way out, as contaminants will.
It's not a contaminant. It's a woolen mitten that my grandmother made for me.
It should not be in my soft tissues. These things are context sensitive.
Ethel can make you another one, dearie.
And yeah, I probably do once I've calmed down and maybe entered a more calm and compassionate mode, and delusions of grandeur have fallen away. I do probably explain that I saw a few things that might be quite interesting, and maybe I'll look into it and make a bit of a project of it.
But the nightmares last forever.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I was this close to godhood. It is a terrible pain to be a simple organism just limited in this way, but it's a
living.
It is a living, and 6 more months of this tour, and then I guess I get paid.
What about Bl0kchain?
Yeah, Bl0kchain is also heartbroken because he found a higher purpose and then he lost it immediately. And he tried to make sense of the doctors. Doctor, I'm a professor, of the doctor's research, but he can't reconstruct something like this crystal, and so he will reorient himself to become a psychologist.
Please tell me he has like the doctor is in sign.
Absolutely.
Over the medbay.
Yes, like a little booth set up.
Yeah, I mean you have a very sort of dazed and unresponsive octopus to practice on.
I was gonna say Carl probably comes to visit a lot.
We're kind of making it worse for each other.
Right, just another day in the old Space Corps.
Another successful mission.
And the camera slowly pans out into space as we watch the Raptor slowly head on towards their mission in Kangtar. Slightly worse for wear. Scene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The future has already arrived.
Thanks for listening, folks. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice. It'll help spread the word and help others to find us too. If you have any comments, questions, or just want to get in touch with us, you can. You can find us on Twitter with @TalesOfPodcast, Instagram with @Tales_of_podcast, and we're also on the dice.camp server on Mastodon with the name @TalesOf. We'd love to hear from you. This episode's Tales of crew is Fabio as Lieutenant Douglas Spencer, Patsy as Science Officer Coral. You can find him on Twitter with @Anyone'sPatsy. Seb as Dr Bl0kchain. You can find him on Twitter with @SMoitzheim, and other content, mostly German, via smoitzheim.omg.law. And also myself, Jan, as GM, and also our audio producer. You can reach me on Twitter with @ThatLastJan. I haven't really figured out what new socials to move to as Twitter implodes with a whimper, but hopefully I'll figure something out soon. All music and sound effects are used with permission and may have been edited and modified for use. Details and links can be found in the show notes. And that's that for now. And we'll be hopefully back on track with Delta Green next month. See you soon!
That's how you get space crazy.
Yeah. Space brain scramblies.